we'll start again.
All right.
Ready, set, go.
Okay, my name is Collin MacGregor, and I'll be talking to you about Smalltalk for mad scientists. Now, what does that exactly mean? Well, a lot of people out there have zombie plans when they are preparing for the zombie invasion. But does everyone have a mad scientist plan for if you wanted to take over the entire world? This is great for if you happen to be, for example, at a social gathering with your friends. The usual topics of conversation are where are you from, what are you studying, and these can really only go on for so long before you start to get those weird awkward pauses, and there's a need for a change in topic to occur. And so it's up to you, man, I need to be really impressive and come up with a great conversation topic. So why not mad scientist plans? It's different, and not a lot of people, I think, have one. And so, with a mad scientist plan, basically, it's if you were given infinite resources and infinite ability to take over the world, what would you do? For me, you think of some really good examples of past mad scientists and evil schemers that exist out there and draw from them inspiration for your plans. Because mad science is really half engineering, half crazy, and half science. The great thing about mad scientist plans is that they are invulnerable and impervious to the laws of thermodynamics, physics, logic, reason. They just sort of do whatever they need to do. So for me, for my mad scientist plan, I realized I needed a lot of railroads and locomotives. I didn't know there were a lot of different types of gauge, so I picked standard gauge, since about 60% of the world's railways use this gauge. In addition to railways and locomotives, I realized I would need a lot of sandpaper. Now, I didn't know that there were two different types of sandpaper. You got your macro grits for quick material removal, your micro grits for surface finishing, and then your grits for breakfast. For my plan, I need macro grits because I need a lot of friction to be built up for what I'm going to do. I did some quick maths. I would need approximately enough sandpaper to cover Massachusetts twice, the entire world supply of locomotives and trains, and about a quarter of the amount of railroad track in the United States of America to enact my evil plan. So I would start off and I would start obtaining all these resources through illegal and legal means, whether it's having a legitimate business buying things, stealing them, just so no one really knows what I'm doing until it's a little too late. Then, from there, I would move forward and construct a railroad around the circumference of the planet. It'd be a great engineering feat, and people would call me brilliant, and I would chuckle evilly, because I have a sinister plan. So after stealing all the locomotives and setting them up around my track, I would begin running the railroad in the opposite direction of the planet, thus producing global slowing. Basically, what I would be doing from there is stopping the planet's rotation, creating a Goldilocks band that I would hold hostage. So whichever longitude bends decide to pay me the most money, they would, basically get to survive. I would collect all of their ransom, be able to buy a nice plot of land wherever that would wind up being, build an evil lair, and all that stuff, and then I'd profit. The actual planet would be changed drastically. A third of it would be way too hot to live on, a third of it would be way too cold due to the effects of space. And then there would be a very nice Goldilocks zone that you could live on. That would be where the high-bidding ransom people would go. And then I would have my evil laugh. And I mean, watch movies, watch TV shows, get a good inspiration for what evil laugh works best for you. Because everyone sort of has their own feel. They want to build up and then start off really high, or just be laughing loudly the entire time. Also, take into consideration the 7 Ps. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Make sure you have a good henchman. Make sure you have a really well-developed monologue for your antagonists when they decide to stop you. And then also make sure you have good plans to remove the antagonists. Then it's back to the party. You're pretty much impressively awesome. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's so funny, he's so brilliant. I never thought of that before. You're like, yeah, I know, it's pretty great. I mean, what else could you ask for? Some people might be recovering and not sure what to think of you, but it's really great. You achieved social victory. When I told my idea to my friends a year and a half ago, it's still an inside running joke amongst us. Like, oh yeah, your sandpaper train around the world. So funny. And it's great. You can sort of have this cool thing that builds up with time. So I mean, what would your mad scientist plan sort of be? You take note, mad scientist plans are invulnerable and you can ignore the following. But use this time to think a little bit, brainstorm in there. Just think, what would you do to take over the world? There's a lot of possibilities. There are other topics you could continue on once you have your new mad scientist friends. You could discuss, what your evil lair would look like on Evil Lair Lane. What you would have, how you would deal with people in your evil henchman meetings. All sorts of fun stuff like that. Another topic you could build off of, what would your evil vehicle be? I mean, when you need to get from A to B around the planet, or escape from the antagonist, or, dominate the enemy, you gotta have some kind of evil vehicle out there with which to enact all of this. And so with that, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Thank you.